The population of the United Kingdom has risen by almost 2 million to 60 million over the last 7 years, and last year the increase was 600,000. Much of this was from the tradition areas like Pakistan and India, but as Guy Goodwin from the Office of National Statistics explained, the main increase was from the countries that have recently joined the EU.
Basically, migration into this country now is running at over 600,000 people a year. Now, to put that in perspective, that's about 1,650 people every day over the last year have come into the country. Now, they're coming from all different parts of the world. Our typical, including what we would term our typical traditional countries, so from Pakistan, from India, from Bangladesh, from African countries, but also from newer countries, and in particular countries from Eastern Europe, new accession countries to the EU, where we've seen particularly strong growth in the last few years. So they're coming from a wide spectrum of countries, and putting that in perspective, if you went back 10 years, we had about half the number of migrants coming in than we do now, so it's doubled in a decade.
But there wasn't just an increase to swell the population from outside the UK's borders. One of the big factors now is the increase in population due to natural birth figures of women of childbearing age.
One of the very fascinating things about the current growth is that it isn't just migration, there's also this strong natural growth. As people from many of these countries come here, they settle and they have families. So to give you an indication, if you look across the piece, people who have come from Poland, people who come from Africa, people who come from Asia, from Iraq, Afghanistan, war-torn countries, we've actually also been seeing a growth in the numbers of births by non-UK mums, either as they settle or because clearly they are typically in those ages, the childbearing ages, when they come here.
Figures show that although many immigrants might first come to London, there is dispersal across Britain, and the east of England has the fastest growing new population.
I think one of the noticeable things with such a significant expansion in the last 5-6 years in the numbers of migrants is that pretty well everywhere you're seeing migrants. Even where I live in Hampshire, you're seeing Polish migrants settling down. So most areas are affected. However, there are some. I mean, typically people come into London and then they go from London to other areas. So quite strong growth into the East Midlands, into the East and into the South East in particular, but also people going to the north, to Wales and all over the country, but particularly those areas in the east, you're seeing an expansion.
The converse is that a record number of people, more than 1,000 a day, are choosing to leave the UK, and the young are being outnumbered by older people with improvements in health and healthcare.